Hey, what's going on, guys? Jeff here from the Float Life. Today we're going to teach you how to install some fresh new grip tape on your one wheel when it becomes all tired, worn out, and slippery. As you guys can see here, we do have some fresh TFL grip right here, so it's not all tired and worn out just yet, but we'll go ahead and change this out for you so we can give you a quick tutorial. First things first, what you're going to need are a few supplies. Going to need a one wheel. Second thing you're going to need is a fresh sheet of TFL grip. And the third thing you're going to need is, boom, blow dryer or a heat gun. I suggest a blow dryer. It's probably easier to not screw up if you just use a blow dryer. And I have a feeling most of you guys are going to have one of these sitting around at home. I recommend the Remington model D3190. Boom, best in the business. Oh, Carl, you're going to be in the shop? So that's everything you're going to need, unless for some reason you don't have TFL grip and you just have regular skate grip tape or your own or something. Then you're going to need a razor blade, you're going to need a screwdriver to grind down the edges, a bunch of other stuff. If you have TFL grip, don't need that, it's already pre-cut, just peel and stick, super easy. So first things first, what we want to do is make sure that there aren't any current issues with our foot pad sensor before we go pulling the original grip tape off. So what we want to do here is you want to turn your one wheel on, and you want to make sure that your LED lights are on. So your foot pad, in case you don't know, is actually broken up into two separate sensors. There's a left sensor and a right sensor. In order to have the board engage below a half mile an hour, you need to have both sensors activated. So what we want to do is test both zones to make sure there aren't any issues. And the best way to do that is just have it sitting here, press the left zone, and you see how the light just got brighter? Now you let it go and the light will dim. Now we want to press the right zone. Yep, looks like both zones are working. And then it doesn't hurt to do a quick test on the level as well. So press both zones and level it out. You can see it's going right now. And let off one zone, and it should deactivate. And let off the other zone. So it seems like our sensors are in good working order, so we don't have anything to worry about. We can keep going with the grip tape change. Bust out that hair dryer. I like to start on the rear foot pad first, especially if you've never done this before. That way you can get a feel for how the grip tape peels back and you don't overdo it. Sort of like a practice foot pad. Since there aren't any electronics under this rear foot pad, it's going to be a lot easier for you to kind of play around and experiment with it, and it's going to be really tough to screw something up. Get your hair dryer, set it on your highest possible setting, start warming up your grip tape. So I usually like to do 30 seconds across the whole thing in order to get the whole entire foot pad nice and warm. So let's start with that. All right, so now that we have the foot pad nice and warm, yep, warm to the touch, what you're going to want to do is start at one of the corners. It really doesn't matter which corner you start, but I really like to start closest to the tire. So what we'll do is we'll heat up that area really nice and warm, warmer than the rest of the foot pad, and then we'll start to peel it back. There you go. And once it starts to peel, what you'll want to do is keep the blow dryer on the front edge of it as you peel it back. I like to peel straight back and not necessarily straight up. It doesn't matter with the back foot pad, but when it comes to the front sensor, that's going to be your best technique. So just go really slow, keep the heat on it, keep it nice and warm, and you shouldn't have any issues pulling it all the way off. And so what I like to do is I like to get that whole front edge right here against the tire, completely peeled back, and then I like to work straight back from the tire. That way you're putting an even amount of pressure on the whole entire thing. All right, now once you get the back grip tape completely off, what you'll want to do is fold it perfectly in half, and we will be using this in a bit. So set this one off to the side and make sure you save it. And I would suggest you give the back foot pad, now that you have the grip tape completely off, give it a good wipe down, make sure you don't have any sand under there or any other debris. All right, so now that we have the rear grip tape removed, it's time to tackle the front foot pad. This one can be a little bit trickier because we do have the sensor to work around, but it's pretty much the exact same process. You just want to make sure you keep in mind to not peel back the top plastic part of the sensor. That's the cover. If you peel that back, it actually kills your sensor. It's not a good thing. So what we're gonna wanna do is start right here on this corner against the tire, work across to the other corner that's on the tire, and then peel straight back this direction. So heat up that whole foot pad. All right, time to grab that front corner. And here's where you really want to be careful, because there's a plastic cover on the top of the sensor. You may want to make sure you're only peeling up grip tape and you're not peeling up that plastic cover right there. If you peel up that plastic cover, you will break your foot pad, so do not peel up that plastic cover. Now, it's more important than ever on the front foot pad to go really, really, really slow. You can go too fast real easy, but you can't really go too slow. So the slower, the better. So that should have come off in one piece right here. You'll notice it's going to be a little bit wrinkly, so if for some reason you wanted to save your front grip tape, set that down, hit it with your hair dryer for a bit, and what that'll do is it'll actually relax the material and it'll make it return to a somewhat normal state. And obviously you want the sticky side up on that one so you don't stick the whole thing to your table. So here's what a naked Onewheel looks like. We've got our back foot pad here. There's no sensors whatsoever. Our front foot pad here, as you can see, it's split up into the two separate zones. So what we're going to do now that we have the grip tape removed is we want to make sure that we didn't mess with the sensor whatsoever. So as long as you did it correctly, you should be completely good. But let's give it a test just in case. So again, turn it on and let's test the zones. Yep, looks like left zone's working. And right zone's working. Yep. Yep. All right, so it looks like our sensor pad is in full working order, so it's time to slap on some of that fresh TFL grip. So you want to make sure you've given enough time between your blow dryer removal and now so that both of your foot pads are back to room temperature. Because what you want to do is you want to remove the grip tape hot, but you want to apply it cold. That'll keep it from going on and actually shrinking on the front sensor, which can cause issues with, I believe it's a 13 blink error code, where the sensor's constantly being pressed by the grip tape and your board won't turn on, or you could potentially have runaways. So again, remove hot, apply cold. So you're going to have two sheets on your TFL grip. There's going to be one with a TFL logo on it, and one without a TFL logo on it. The one with the logo, that's the one that we're gonna put on the rear. And then the one without the logo, that one's gonna go on the front. The first thing you're gonna wanna do here is just slap it on with the backing and everything and do a dry fit. So make sure that everything lines up just right, make sure everything fits, and now we're ready to stick it on. Flip over the back and peel it just like a sticker. So I usually like to line it up off the tire edge first because we have a straight edge right there, and that's going to be the easiest spot to start. So just line up that edge real nice. Right here you want to center it around these screw heads real nice. And once you have it where you want, push it down and just work it down like this. Basically the opposite of how you originally removed it. You just want to lay it down. Till we're down around all the edges, and just give it a push down with your hand here. Make sure everything's good, make sure you don't have any big bubbles or anything like that. If you do have a big bubble, what you can do is just take a razor blade and press into it, give it a little cut, and then push it back down. But you shouldn't have any big bubbles if you installed it like this. Real easy process. So there you go, rear foot pad is installed. Pretty easy process, right? Now, since you have that extra paper backing from the rear, if there was a case where you did want to save your original front grip tape that you pulled off, what you can do is take your backing and just stick it right back on there. And then you can just throw this in a drawer, save it for later, whatever you want to do, that's your business. Now for the front. This part's the exact same process as we did on the rear. It's really easy. Just make sure you dry fit it first. Yep, the important reference points when you're dry fitting is going to be this front edge right here and the cutouts for the screw holes. But once we have it exactly where we want it, just peel that paper backing. Start with this front edge on the tire right here, line it up. And once you have that edge set, just work it down. Nice and easy. All right, now make sure you push it down in all the spots. Make sure you don't have any bubbles in there or anything. And it goes on easy as that. So what we want to do now is do one more test to make sure that the sensors are still in good working order before we go and take it to the streets. Looks like the sensors are in good working order. Before we take it out, there's one more step we want to do. We actually want to sand down the edges of the grip tape so that we get a good seal on them and that they don't peel back in case we get any dirt or anything in there. So remember that piece of grip tape that I had you fold perfectly in half? That's where this comes into play now. You want to take it, probably fold it into a quarter if you want, make it smaller, palm size, and you'll actually want to sand down the edge of the grip tape all the way around. And what that does is it's actually going to give you a better bond, and it's really going to seal it to the foot pad. And there we go. It's easy as that to change grip tape. It's really not intimidating whatsoever. So if you have blow dryer and a fresh set of TFL grip, that's really all you need. If you've never changed your grip tape before and you've just always ridden the stock grip tape, it's a game changer. It's so much different when your feet can actually stay attached to the board. So go ahead and head on over to thefloat.life and pick up a set of TFL grip, change it out. Feel free to shoot me a message or write something in the comments if you guys have any questions. And that's it. Float on, my friends.